I am Acharya Sri Ram Sharma, and you have been telling me to tell you something about Baba. So it's my privilege to tell something about Baba, whom I take the highest of the high. It was in the year 1957 when I was just having my first master's degree in philosophy. I was very much interested in God from my childhood, and the perpetual questions about God, existence, and all other questions about God, they always were in my mind. In my MA course of philosophy, this question I dealt with in detail, and to some extent I was just away from God, away from God. My little knowledge of philosophy made me to go away from God, because the conception of God is a very difficult conception which philosophers have not been able to properly grasp. My friends, they used to question me about God, but I used to say, tell me first to me, what is God yourself? The question of God implies the conception of God. So anybody who asks me about God, anybody who asks me about God, I, in replying, asked him, what do you mean by God yourself? You are asking about a thing. Suppose I say anything about God. If you do not already know what is God, you cannot just make out what is right or what is wrong. Therefore, anybody who questions about God must himself already know what is God. So some such questions were always in my mind, some doubts about God, and but my love for God was always there, and I always that love was always increasing and increasing. The more I questioned about God, the more I think, you see, I became infatuated with God, with the idea of God. So when I heard about Avatar Meher Baba from my friends, in the zeal of my philosophical knowledge, I always condemned them, my friends who talked about Baba and called him Avatar. I said, you see, God philosophically will never take any avatar. He is almighty. The conception of God is that he is almighty, all-knowing, and present everywhere. What is the need for God to come here in this world and correct his own world? So, in a way, I was against the theory of avatarhood itself. Then some of my friends who were clever friends of mine, they wanted to make me round by taking me to Meher Baba. And then, you see, decide for myself as to what Meher Baba is, what avatarhood is. And I said, you see, I will not go and waste my money by you see, going to Ahmednagar or wherever Baba is to have his darshan. I do not care. I think, you see, there is no necessity for me to go and have his darshan, because I think that God will never take his avatar to come here and correct his world, because he can correct his world from where he is. From the place God is, he can correct his world. He need not take a human form and come here in this world to just give it directions. So my friends, you see, they were, they just, you see, collected some funds for me. My friends collected funds for me, and they took me to Ahmednagar for the first time in 1957. And I was just, you see, in a difficult situation there at Ahmednagar itself, because of company of one saint. One saint whose bed was just, you see, besides me. He was also This direction. It's Swami Mangalanand. He used to call himself Swami Mangalanand, Danglanand, etc., etc., and he was a very haughty and angry saint. He used to say that he has done some research in God and Om, and he used to say that he is a very high saint, a saint of very high stature, and he knows much about God and the reality of Om. And I was taken by other persons to be under his impression, but that was a wrong notion of other persons, that I was impressed by him. On the other hand, I was trying to find out what the man was in reality and what feeling he had about Avatar Meher Baba. I feel that both of us, Swami Mangalanand and myself, were keen to know about the stature of Avatar Meher Baba. We are trying to judge the infinite through our finite minds. Swami Mangalanand had his own way of dealing with Avatar Meher Baba, but I had a practical way to estimate Baba. I just made my mind that whatever Baba is, whether very high or just is he ordinary man, is he posing to be very high, it is not none of my cares to just logically find out the truth about this. I thought I must first just obey Baba, whatever Baba says. I must first try to just obey him, and then afterwards find out what Baba is in reality. So Baba said to me that you see, you just go on obeying what I tell you, and once you will realize what I am. I heard Baba saying like this, and I took it for myself. From that time, I was around Baba most of the time. My friends also suggested me that you just be near Baba as much as you can. So I was near Baba most of the time, just peeping him through the windows, the doorway, or sometimes he is standing near Baba in the sahwas. So it became clearer and clearer to me what is the reality in Baba. After I think about 2 days, I felt that Baba is something very, very high, much more greater than my little mind can comprehend. On the third day, perhaps, if I remember correctly, I was just standing in the pandal. On the third day, Baba was sitting very gracefully on the dais, and most of the gathering people were sitting in front on the carpets. I was myself sitting on the carpet, but I was very much emotionally stirred up. I could not keep sitting there. I got up from the carpet and stood. Just you see, besides the gathering, and from there I was just you see looking Baba constantly. I was so much stirred up that you see I heard only Baba's speech, and just constantly just looked at him. I felt that I was seeing the most beautiful person living on earth, and gradually the most, you see, just very, very high emotions were generated in myself, in my mind and my heart. Gradually, I felt that I was drowning in the ocean of anand or bliss. And then I just got, you see, I was feeling that I was intoxicated with bliss. This, you see, blissfulness gradually just overpowered me. And Baba was, I just remember that Baba was keeping an eye on me. Occasionally he used to see me while I was standing there. And that also, his sight, his just seeing me, exhilarated me more and more. Every sight of his on me just generated just a blissful feeling in me. So it so happened that once I could not control myself. I could not just stand there. I just ran away from the place I was standing and just went directly to Baba, where Baba was sitting. I did not care as to who were Baba's bodyguards, who were the person just between me and Baba. I just, you see, took just dashed towards Baba, I tell you, and just went there, just touched his, lied down flat on his feet, and said to him, Baba, I think I have got what I wanted. And there were no more words from me. I was lying on his feet for, I think, 1 or 2 minutes. On that occasion, I felt that I was not myself. I was just nothing but only blissful consciousness. So this was the effect of Baba's personality on me, and this happened in just 3 days. For the first 2 days, I was just, you see, antagonistic to Meher Baba, but for the 2 days, I was antagonistic to Baba, and my antagonism against Baba was increased by Swami Mangalanand. But on the 3rd day, as I have already narrated, I just surrendered myself completely to Baba, and felt that he was the highest reality which anyone could realize, as I had myself realized. I don't think that, you see, Baba was doing anything in particular from outside, but every word, every syllable of Baba was just touching my heart. Baba was giving a discourse at that time on the separate ego. The separate ego, and just while he was discussing about the separate ego, I felt that he was just talking about my separate ego also. And when Baba said that, you see, the separate ego are only illusions, all the egos are just rooted in the Brahma itself, or the highest reality, or the overself, as he used to call. I thought my own separate ego was rooted in the overself. And this was the logical feeling in my mind, and the logical chain of thought in my mind that that made me to surrender in Baba, because I felt that my separate existence was an illusion. So on the 3rd day, I remember that I completely surrendered myself to Baba. Afterwards, wherever I was, whether in a bathroom or on the bedroom, I felt that, you see, I was not a mere petty man, or a man with, you see, a limited ego. I felt that I had no limit to my consciousness. I had no limit to my blissfulness. Only the oceanic consciousness and the oceanic blissfulness was my existence. Wherever I was, whether day and night, I was always in this mood, and as long as I was there at Ahmednagar, Sahwas, this mood of mine continued. I was, unless and until told by other persons, as to now, you see, there is time for sleep, and you go for sleep, my friends, if you just carried me away to bed, I Then only I went to bed. Otherwise, I was most of the time hankering, rather remaining nearer and nearer to Baba. Just looking at him, just seeing him, just enjoying his nearness. It was the year of 1958. 1 year after my first experience of blissfulness in the company of Avatar Meher Baba. At that time I was a government officer placed in charge of 2 districts, and I was happy there in the job. But all of a sudden there was a call from Meher Baba that you and Professor Ami Kumar Hajra, both of you, come to have my darshan at Mahabaleshwar. At the time, I got a letter regarding this thing to have darshan of Meher Baba at Mahabaleshwar. I had not received my pay, etc., because it was the end of the month, and I had no reserve of funds with me at that time because I was away from my home. So I came to Mr. Hajra and told him that I had not sufficient funds to go to Mahabaleshwar. Mr. Hajra himself was in dearth of money. As far as I remember, he had resigned from his job of professorship and was staying at home without any work. So he was handicapped with money naturally. So we were not thinking of just taking loan from any other person. But Mr. Hajra and myself, you see, both of us decided that we should write to Baba about our handicapped situation. So we thought, you see, we should write a letter, and we wrote a letter to Baba that we are short of funds, but we have a keen desire to have your darshan. I think within 3 days, Mr. Hajra received a money order from Baba, money order of about 100 rupees. And in that money order coupon, it was written that both of you start from there at your earliest. This 100 rupees was sufficient to both of us to take to Mahabaleshwar. We prepared hurriedly to Mahabaleshwar. But you see, before this money order came, Mr. Hajra had just mortgaged his bicycle for about 100 rupees, and he had procured the money. In the meanwhile, I also arranged some money for my... Baba's secretary, Mr. Aras, took us to a garden where he wanted us to change our moods and not talk about Baba anything. He wanted our moods to be changed completely, but we failed to do so. The more he wanted us to talk something about the beauty of the garden, or something about the birds, something about the beautiful things around. He wanted us to talk about the beautiful Mahabaleshwar lake, but all his efforts failed, and he was himself conscious of this thing. He himself smiled from within that these persons are so much intoxicated about Baba's love. The more he wanted to distract our attention, we again harped and harped on the same string, and felt that, you see, we could not go outside of Baba's intoxication. So that evening we slept somehow. I think we hadn't any sleep, at night time we were talking and talking about Baba, and somehow or the other we passed that night in Baba's remembrance. The next morning we were asked by Baba's secretary to go for Baba's darshan. We went there. Baba was sitting there on a beautiful chair. A good dining room was arranged there. About 10 to 15% more were sitting in that dining room. When I entered the room where Baba was sitting, I was having a box camera with me. But I was ordered by Baba and somebody took away that camera from me. Baba said, don't photograph anything here. We somehow or the other, besides our moods, because we were not in our controlled moods, we just were just hodgepodge, Mr. Hajra and myself. Hodgepodge, not that we were just hodgepodge in the worldly sense, but we were our psyche, our consciousness, that was all disturbed by the overpowering influence of Baba's presence there. Somehow we were seated on chairs there. We didn't know as to what to do. We sometimes saw Baba, sometimes just to see looked here and there, but you see our thoughts were not gathered. If I can talk about my friend Mr. Hajra, his condition was also similar. Mr. Hajra's condition was also similar, and if I am allowed to say that we were just gradually transcending our finite beings in presence of Baba's infinite greatness. Then you see, to make us just a little normal, in his Baba's peculiar style, Baba asked us very, very simple questions as to how did you have your sleep at night. We replied something. I don't remember what I replied. Mr. Hajra also replied something. But you see, our answers were just, not very much logical. They were somehow answered, that's all. And then Baba asked us, what meals did you have? He asked Mr. Hajra, what did you eat? But I remember that Mr. Hajra was not able to say anything. What he ate, I don't think he remembered. But now I remember that in the Ripon Hotel, which was one of the best hotels at Mahabaleshwar, where only very, very, very rich persons could have stayed, we were served with very delicious meals, and a good variety of dishes were there. So we could not remember any of the dishes we had eaten. Then Baba himself just suggested, did you eat this thing? Then Mr. Hajra and myself, he nodded our heads that yes, we have eaten this thing. Then he took the name of different dish and asked, have you eaten this thing? We then said, yes, we have taken this also. In this way, you see, we gave the name of a few of the dishes. But we did not just properly remember as to what we had eaten. Not that you see our memory was weak, that we could not remember the dishes, but the intoxication, the overall impression, the overall thought of Meher Baba, the dominating thought of that celebrity was there. So we had no other thought. In fact, you see, our logical thinking was shattered. Then Baba gradually, in his peculiar style, he brought our consciousness down and down. Then you see, when we became a little normal, he just started his discourse. He said, if I remember his words properly, he said, you both of you are very lucky that I, the highest of the high, have called you here, and this meeting is it. Both of you are very lucky. I am highest of the high that I have called you, and these 2 hours are completely for both of you. Really, you people are very, very lucky. He then said that I am going to tell you ABC of spirituality, and if you just go on obeying me, a day will come when you will be perfect masters. I remember these words, and I always feel that you see, Baba has given us something very high which my finite mind cannot fathom. But what Baba did to we people at that time, that has been the solace of my life ever and ever up till now, and will remain so till my end on this planet. And the mystery which Baba did with we people, it is beyond my mind to just fathom and just tell what Baba did to we people. Then Baba put us some questions. He said to both of us, Mr. Hajra and myself, that there is a leper woman just at a distance from here, very near to we people. And if I order both of you to go to her and have a bodily relation with her, will you go? To be brief, I may tell the same thing in different words. Baba asked us whether will you go to have intercourse with that leper woman. We were just taken in surprise. We had this very difficult mood, which is difficult for me to narrate even. Mr. Hajra, just you see, I remember Mr. Hajra blushed and just he kept his eyes down, and in that same style he answered to Baba, Baba, I will not go to her to have a bad relation with her. Then Baba turned towards me. He said, Mr. Sharma, will you go and have intercourse with that leper woman? When Baba was asking, Mr. Hajra this question, I was thinking that Baba may ask this question to me, and what reply I will have to. Baba turns toward me and put me the same question, whether you will go and enjoy sexually with that leper woman. When Baba put this question to Mr. Hajra, I felt that the same question might be put to me. And I was thinking, what answer will I give to Baba? I had read in Baba's books that if Baba had somewhere said that for him the obedience is greatest. All other things are important. Love to Baba, love to God is important. But obedience to the perfect master is greatest. This thought was in my mind. This thought suddenly came in my mind, and With this thought, I replied to Baba that, Baba, I will obey you. But I know you will not want me to do so. Baba smiled at me and remarked, Sharma, you are wise. I remember these words, and these words have been just written on my heart and mind permanently, and they just exhilarate me. They are the real position in my life that Baba has once he told me that, Sharma, you are wise. I think from that time the inferiority from me have completely gone, because I feel that, you see, Meher Baba had, you see, that greatness in him, and that greatness has touched me by his statement that, Sharma, you are wise. Then afterwards, he put us more questions, and we replied, but we cannot just remember the details of them. The important thing he asked us was that both of you love your mother. He dilated on this topic for a while, and asked us to love our mother, because he knew already that we are loving our mother. He wanted to intensify our love for our mothers. Mothers of both of us were widows at that time, and they were also Baba's lovers. Baba, my mother and Mr. Hazra's mother, both the mothers love Baba very intensely. They used to love Baba intensely at that time also. At Mahabaleshwar, the first order of Baba to both of us was, love your mothers. Then he said to me that, you love your mother, but love me ultimately. What is the meaning of this double order? That is being clear to me gradually. Love your mother and then love me ultimately. It is not the time to just explain the double meaning of these orders. The second order he gave to both of us was, don't touch any girl lustfully. We just got his orders written on our heart, and from that time we have tried our best not to touch any girl lustfully. Then the third order he gave to we people was, go on practicing ABCD of spirituality, which I have told you, and one day you will be perfect masters. These three orders are very sacred to us, and to the best of our abilities, both of us have been doing our best to carry out these orders. But there have been some failings, as is natural with the animal and the human life here in this world. We have failed sometimes and repented some again and again for our failings. But our earnest desires have been to obey Baba in perfection. I think we can obey Baba completely and in perfection only when we become perfect ourselves. Since we are not perfect ourselves, the imperfect obedience is very much natural and logical. But the important thing is that we are just keenly thinking of obeying him perfectly and as much sincerely as there is possibility. Once I was very much perplexed in my life, and I felt that I should contact Baba as early as possible. But I knew that even when I contact Baba by telegram, which was the only available way for me, it will take me at least 2 days to have a reply from Baba by telegram. And this telegram was the only way to have a contact with Baba. But I was feeling that somehow or the other I must have just some suggestions or reply of Baba somehow or the other. So it is a surprise that the next morning I get a letter from Baba in which my problems were discussed. And this is a great surprise to me. I cannot connect it as to how it happened, but I think it was my internal wish that Baba, in his all-knowingness, just replied me. I wanted to have contact with Baba, and Baba, through a letter by himself, solved my problems and sent a letter to me, which I got the next morning. Some such events have always happened in my life. Whenever I was in trouble or whenever I was in earnest need to have some contact with Baba, his advices, etc. I had some or the other way of just contacting him. He sometimes appeared in my dreams and just gave me whatever I wanted. And this has most of the times happened with me. That's all. During his last days, we were forbidden to write letters to Baba. This was for a pretty long time, but some of his disciples took liberty with Baba and used to write letters to him. Sometimes Baba, in his grace, used to reply the letters also. I was the person who sometimes took liberty with Baba because I was assured of his love for me, and I also intensely loved him. So when Baba was not keeping well, and perhaps he was on his deathbed, a sudden impulse came in my mind, and I wrote a letter to him in which I had discussed many problems which are very important to my life. I just wrote the letter, and it was an inland letter, and wanted that that should be replied by Baba. But next day I heard in the morning that Baba has dropped his body, and I simultaneously remembered that I had written a letter to Baba the last evening. At that time I had a desire that that letter of mine should be obtained by me somehow or the other. I thought I will write to Adiji to return that letter to me. But it was a great surprise that without my writing to Adiji to return that letter to me, that letter was returned automatically, without my any efforts. After 3 or 4 days, I got my inland letter returned from the Ahmednagar post office, and on that inland letter it was endorsed "Ghetle nahi," meaning thereby that that letter was not received or not taken by any of the Baba persons there in that office. So it was my wish that that letter should be returned, and Baba so arranged that that letter was not taken by any of them and was returned to me without my making any efforts. I think in this, Baba had answered my inner prayer and just did to fulfill my desire that that last letter of mine to Baba should be returned to me. Here, by this incidents, I feel that Baba knew everything. He was omniscient, and he just fulfilled the desires of his disciples in his own manner. I think this is an important incidence of Baba's omniscience. And similar other incidents have happened in my life, but I think this is a very important one.